All right, my friends, I'm a little late, but I'm a technical wizard, dude. I'm a technical wizard. It was unclear if I was going to be able to make this stream work because everything wasn't working. And then I was doing all kinds of figuring it out, and I was like, you know what, Bowes, before you give up, just reboot your computer. Reboot that bad boy and see what happens. And now it's working. So, do I understand? No, I do not. All right, here we go. Let's get into it. It's been a long day. I got up about 4:20 or so to do the World Championship, so I'm a little loopy. So excuse me, I might get a little loose. You know, sometimes the tongue will say things it wasn't planning to when you're a little loose like this. Okay, we got Safuya here. Was planning to work through all the cohorts up, but I've decided to just start at the 1,000 to 1,100 range as this will be most beneficial for my limited time currently. What is he talking about? Let's go see what Safuya is saying. Right, so Safuya, buddy, listen, no. No, that's not the way it works. So yeah, if you're in the training program, you don't start at the bottom. You start from where you are, okay? You start from where you are, but we're gonna give you a follow. And, you know, when you graduate out of this one, out of the 1,000 to 1,100, then, you know, go from there. All right. Boom. Let's go to the next one. Tristan Brown says, all I had left are blunder games. Really proud of myself in this one. I took my time to work through the cohort, do all the tasks, and ready for some new material. I truly think that taking this step back to raise my chess floor has been really beneficial to my overall play. All right, let's go see what Tristan's talking about. So, oh, look at that, dude. Tristan's fine. Now, Tristan, nobody. No. So he did the same thing as Safuya. Went all the way back and started from the very bottom. And, right, this is misuse of the dojo. So I think, okay, this is a comment. This has been going on from the beginning of the training program. Okay, so people who have, let's say, like Tristan, who have a rating of around 1,500, say to themselves, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go from the very ground floor up, man. I'm going to start from the very bottom. And the idea is kind of cool. It's like I'm going to get the fundamentals right or something like that. You know, I'm going to work it way back up. And, you know, what you're doing is, like, let's say that early, this early cohort you put yourself in, you know, you're doing basic tactics and things that you have already, if you're at 1,500, your mind already has a pretty good grip on the board. And that's what those basic tactics are going to be teaching you, like everyone's first chess workbook. So, yeah, of course you can do it. You can do it. You're not the first one to do this. But I feel strongly that you should stick to it. Also, you know, part of the whole idea of the cohort is you're with equals, and you're like a big old 800-pound gorilla going down there in the 300 and 400 cohort, bud. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. CTP Pop. What do they got to say? CTP Pop joined a couple months ago, and also incorrect. Look at this, 1706. Oh man, wrong cohort, wrong cohort. So CTP Pop, you got to go up to 706, but I'll give you a follow, but you're in the wrong cohort. All right, got a lot of wrong cohorts today. Austin Castles. I want to graduate to the 1,000 cohort. Well, what's going on today? What's going on today, you guys? He's in the wrong cohort too. He's also in the wrong cohort. All right, we'll give him a follow, but wrong cohort. Faugra. Now, Faugra's not, I don't think is going to be in the wrong. Uh-oh, here we go. Maybe something's going on. Now, Faugra, I've got to say, I just have the heat map video out. And I brutalized Faugra in that heat map video. I think he took it well, but he did comment on our Discord. He's like, Krai's brutalizing me, man. Kraai's brutalizing me. Let's see what he's saying. This is a regraduation subsequent to having been demoted when the dojo adjusted the cohorts. Okay. Given my deteriorating eyesight, that was further complicated after acquiring Bell's palsy. The demotion was probably a good thing. Recently purchased a Chestnut Go e-board. Great. You can see Kostya did a review of that, I think, recently, as well as Deem Hoki. And I'm slowly managing how to use it. So hopefully the reduced strain on my eyes from monitor glare will be reflected in my future results. Great, dude. Great. I also definitely am doing too much work in front of the screen, and it's not a good thing for the eyes, especially if you're an old dude like me and Faugra, dude, you know. It's not the greatest. Okay, and I totally appreciate, I demoted myself too. I feel I have some confidence that I can make it back, okay, but I did demote myself. All right, so Southwestern Ontario, Canada. Nice. And look at that heat map. And so you can see why I yelled at him, because he had all this white from the non-dojo stuff going on. And I wanted Faugra to come back to the program, and maybe that orange there is an indication that he came back a little bit, Came back just a little bit. So great that he graduated, though. And, yeah. If you need, there's a variety of reasons you could get demoted, right? And one of the reasons is, some kind of thing like a palsy hits you, and you're an older dude. I'm going to, hopefully I will continue to play chess my whole life. And, I already demoted myself once. I might have to demote myself again, Okay. So let's get into it. There you see the amazing heat map. And we got the Canada, Toronto, no stress, e-board club. I do think the e-board is really interesting, especially for players, ready to play some classical games online. I think it is a great thing. All right, let's look at one of Faugra's games. So this was played recently. Let's give it a click. Boom. If Faugra's in the chat, he could tell me which one he would rather do. So this was played while he's in the 600 to 700 cohort. Great. Let's take a quick look at the time graph. Oh. Now, the good news is we don't have to yell at Faugra as much as his opponent. His opponent, he wasn't using no e-board. That guy was in full distraction mode, man. That guy wasn't thinking at all. Now, what we're going to hope is that Faugra was winning by move 20. And winning cleanly, because otherwise he got tired and turned it into a blitz game. Okay. So let's go back and game review. Here we go. Good chess so far. Obviously strange, right? Poor. Castles. Bishop c5. And now knight takes, no, not knight takes e5, Kraai, don't do it. c3, good move. Now you're just whacking him, good move, d4. Now e takes d4 is a mistake, though he's already in, he's already in trouble. That loss of tempo is so critical now. So it would be cool if he could play bishop b6, but he cannot. So, because we go de, queen d8, and something's going to fall. So this is why you don't lose a tempo, my friends. Boom, boom. And now the big deal to understand is that we get c3 for our knight, and black has lost their strong e5 pawn. Now we need a good move. Let's see what he does. Bishop e3. Okay. So one thing about this position that I think is hard for white to understand is that we need to assure ourselves that that we contain the black pieces with our strong pawn. And so bishop e3 is probably okay, but bishop g4 will mess with us. So you guys know that I yell, this is Faugra might feel like I'm being inconsistent here, but you guys know I don't like to give away pawn moves, but here I think h3 is correctamundo, because here our position is so massive once we control the center like this, and then knight c3 next. Okay, so bishop e3. Poor move. Yeah, bishop g4 has got to be it. Good move. a6, poor move. So actually, I just finished, thank you very much. I just finally finished this Chessable course. Mini dojo games featured in it, basically all dojo games, where I talked about players losing time and how to take advantage of that time loss. That is what the course is about. Queen b3, that's got to be good. Okay, and it's a problem now because on queen e7, we're going to whack him with knight d5. Very nice. Queen f8. Oh, that's ugly. Snip. Thank you very much. Oh, look at this position, Faugra. Knight d8. Now, your opponent, by the way, as we saw in the time graph, wasn't thinking about all this stuff at all. And now bishop f4. Now, by the way, you're saying it's a small advantage, but you're just killing him here, bud. You are nailing this guy. Development, the pawn, bishop. Oh, man. So I would say this is clearly winning. Let's play d5 now. Good move. Let's snip it. Yeah, good move. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's go bishop takes b5, son. Oh. So, yeah, bishop takes b5. We're going to win a coconut, right? Bishop b5, ab, queen b5. So, honestly, this is the first move that I have a problem with, though you are definitely completely still winning the position after queen c7. Now, these notes are a little weird for me. Yeah, because, like, what are we doing? You're listing all the candidate moves? Okay, so rook c8, snip, good move. And then he missed queen takes c8. Now, you are still winning. Oh, that's not it. Knight h4. I mean, because here you have rook c7 check to the miserable king. Oh, buddy. This guy's not developed. Oh, look at that. Dang. Oh, no. And now what we got to say is I'm not yelling at Faugra at all about the loss of time. I mean, on the clock, that he played this out without thinking too much. That's fine. There you get a pass. You get a pass, buddy. You get a pass. Okay, Faugra, that was great. That was great. In fact, I think this is a way, the dojo way, when you are playing at this level, I want you to see that you had good square control, like you weren't hanging stuff. Your time usage was reasonable. And what happened was your opponent didn't develop their coconuts and you brutalized them the dojo way. You brutalized them the dojo way, and that's what we want. I definitely say that's a winning position here, bishop f4, right? The notes I'm confused about the way you did it, right? But great game, great game. That's like, it might seem basic, but like when you're at this under 1000 level, they're going to hang stuff and they're going to give you time, and you like just showed you were the much better player here, and that's what we want to see. Okay, beautiful. So, boom, let's go grad show. Next up, we have King Jared moving up in the belts. Very fun, nice. And King Jared put a lot of work in here. You can see here. So this is King Jared. Now this is kind of weird. He's putting in, when you look at his heat map, it's all just games played. Let's see if I change it with dojo points. Oh, so that's weird. Okay, so what that means is when he logs his hours worked, he's only logging it when he plays a game, but he is also logging the dojo points. Okay, so that's a good looking heat map, and you can see he's done a lot of work. Let's actually look activity real quick. And right, he hasn't done the time breakdown, but you see there's a good macro distribution here. Great. Okay, that looks good. We'll go clubs. The down under dojo. Okay, this is King Jared. Nice. Games. And, okay, beautiful. Let's click on a game. And first we'll look at the time graph. Oh, buddy. That's what we want to see. Are playing some chump who ain't using his time. Look at that, man. Look at that. No time used. Can we just say it's an interesting thing that it's almost like we have a spectrum where at the beginning level players clearly aren't using enough time, and Ding and Gukesh are using too much. Can we just pause and reflect on that amazing spectrum? Because Ding and Gukesh got a problem, dude. They got they got issues that somebody's got to talk to them about. You know, both of them spending way too much time, not having time enough on the critical positions. Holy moly! All right, here we go. We're gonna go to the game review button. Ooh, and Kraai hasn't been hitting his marked review thing. Blunder. Here we go. Queen d5, a little strange, right? Good move. Good move. Fine. D5 also looks good. Poor. Knight f3. All right, now let's hit. Now is the question: do we hit him with d5? You said I'm gonna just develop. I like it. You got a beautiful position. Ooh, bishop b6. That ain't it. Bang! Welcome to the dojo. Welcome to the dojo, my friend. Yeah, this is what they get. Uh-oh. Now. Okay, so definitely would have been simpler on FE, but I still think you're just winning. You're still just simply winning here. So you say, thank you very much. Good move. Whoa. Now, this one freaks me out a little bit. This one feels unnecessary. Okay? So one of the things to just see about the path out of the 1000 club is a very simple thing. You win a piece, you trade everything down, you're not fancy, and you know, so here, for example, knight e4 would come to mind, king f2, king g2, and bishop h7, maybe you're winning, but you're playing with fire over there. So here we go. Boom, boom, boom. King h6. Now, are we, by the way, this is definitely a momentito where we want to do some talking about the different variations. Is king g8 winning, for example? I'm not 100% it is. It looks strong, but I'm not 100%, so that would be a good variation. So, queen g4, and now f6 concerns me. e5, queen h, king, rook. Okay, good. We're threatening some mates. King f5, that wasn't it. Buddy, you gotta, your king. you gotta have some sympathy for your king, son. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, yeah. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. That's pretty good. So this one, I just want to stress, this is a great sack, that you know the theme is great. That there's a one difference, though, than the standard sack. In the standard sack, you have the pawn on e5. Here you don't. So it concerns me, or it's a question of whether we're mating here or not. And I just want to stress, I'm not certain. So f6 is a question. I think f6, you're going to mate him. So for example, boom, 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 and then ye old rook g1. It's not mate because he can play queen g3, but we're not going to put queen g3 on the board. Then our next question is, what about f5 though? See, a lot of times we'd have this or something, but here it's going to be like check, here, and then here. So at the minimum, it looks, Jerry looks scary. Well, that could be winning too. But these are the variations I want to see in the analysis. Let's see what else we got. Okay, here's another variation. G6, queen, king. Now, rook h8's a threat, so we got to do something. Check, king. And maybe he escapes. All right. Now, these are the kind of variations. They will teach you tactics. That's one of the, when we say we're going over our games, this is the kind of thing we're talking about, right? Yeah, and it also shows, I hope, that we got to be careful. We got to be careful about bishop h7. If it works, it works. But we're taking unnecessary risk. All right. Let's keep going. And next up we have that's probably a Greek word, simoasios. Go back over here, buddy, grad show. First graduation, what a Christmas present. Before Dojo, I was overwhelmed by learning resources in the form of books, platforms, courses. The structured Dojo training plan where I can choose my own pace suits me well. The three main things I have learned in the past months. 1, time. Longer classic games allow me to think and calculate variations. In the end, this is more fun. I have come to the conclusion that short games mess up my ability to calculate. Yes, they bring short dopamine kicks, yeah, but that makes them addictive and often frustrating at the same time. That's why I switched from Chess.com to Lichess Classical. Tactics on paper. Thinking through Polgar's tactics was a breakthrough. With online tactics, it's too tempting to play them out. Printed tactics can only unfold in my mind's eye. Beautiful. Time number 2. My learning success only became noticeable after a long period of time and is extremely gradual. In our world where we often want to see an immediate effect, we often forget how long-term learning works. This requires patience and also humility, something I have to remind myself of again and again. 2 aspects that I find rather difficult: the social elements, training partners, and such. I know it's a big part and I won't get around it sooner or later, but the thought of getting involved in the community is still difficult for me. In my daily life, I'm challenged both at work and with my family, and the thought of being part of another group, new people to engage with and communication with, is stressing me out. Okay, I certainly need some encouragement. 2, rather a small thing, dojo tactics. I somehow can't get to grips with the concept of playing both your own and your opponent's move, and then in several variations. I'll have to take a closer look at that. So here I am, delighted with the program and looking forward to the next cohort. Nice. Beautiful. I hear you about the community thing, too. Like at one point, David Pruess was like, we got to enforce it. When they get here, if they don't have a training partner, we're going to give them one. We're going to assign them one. And I was like, dude, we got introverts out there like me, man. I don't know, man. I don't want any part of this stuff. It's too much. You're killing me. So, there's a lot of ways I want to make the site work. And for especially the completely introverted, I think there's a variety of ways to make it work. Like a lot of the endgame positions you could play against the bots. Right, that's one thing. And I also want it to be something where we can do stuff without the Discord, right? Like right now, we're trying to set up the round robin, and then, people who aren't in the Discord, you have to maybe send somebody an email or something like that, Okay, great. Let's go check out the profile over here. So we got the Simoesis, and they're up to 999. So really ready for another graduation. Really ready for another one. Been playing a lot. I've done 1 tactics test or 3 tactics tests and had a brutal failure at it. Yeah, he talked about that in his note. He was like, I can't figure it out, Bows. I can't figure it out. We are in the process of trying to make the UI a little bit more user-friendly. But we're kind of committed to the idea that you have to do both you and your opponent's moves. And you said yourself, right? You were like, well, these online trainers, they're making the move for you, and you don't really have to think about it. Well, that's kind of like what we're trying to do, Okay. So, clubs. Deutschland. Okay. Then we're going to look at the activity. That's a pretty good breakdown right there. Yeah, 69 hours to achieve graduation. Games. Oh, we got 1. And this was played fairly recently. We'll give it a click. First thing, we'll look at ye old time graph. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Now, well, the first thing is his opponent, dude. That guy was playing a bullet game. He signed up for a 30 plus 20, and look at that. He's playing bullet chess. Yeah. And it's hard to play against those people, man. You know, when they play so fast, it gives the impression that they know what they're doing. But I can guarantee you this clown does not know what they're doing unless they're, yeah, I don't know. So we do want to say, Simo, that we want you to be playing a little slower here. Okay? All right. Game review. Oh, no. Oh, no. Good. I played this a lot when I was a kid. This looks like a complete blunder. Bishop b6. ED is the main one. So, boom. Good move. Knight e4. And now you castled. Question for me would be, does queen d5 win on the spot? You also have bishop f7, but queen d5 looks like a crushing body blow. Is that true, Kraai? Wait, yeah, no, it looks kind of true. Looks kind of true. What is he supposed to do? Because bishop f2 is just a niggle check. You can go wherever you want. And then I don't see how dude gets out of it. He's got this coconut and that coconut. And those are some serious coconuts, as they say, you know. All right, so maybe we could find an improvement there. So boom, boom. Now, you played bishop d5 and maybe missed that he could play knight c5. I was a bit worried of the threat on f2. In fact, you were terrorized of it. That's why you castled instead of thinking about queen d5. All right, I'm not sure. Notice, bishop d5 is not a developing move, okay? So we would like, this is an interesting position. One thing I'm seeing, for example, is I would like to play queen c2 just to develop the guy, but then d5 is annoying, you know, because he's got that coconut. So this position, I feel, must be much better for you. Maybe this is ambitious, but notice that at least with queen d5, we're developing our pieces. All right, bishop d5, knight c5, bishop e3. Good move, d6. They got to bring that guy out. And notice b4 does not help you develop. Knight d7 is weird. Knight e6 looks a little bit more normal. Bishop takes, knight takes. Notice, when he put the knight on d7, he's discoordinated his bishop. So when you take, you very much help the development of the black pieces, right? So it's not easy to know exactly what you should do. I get it, though. Yeah, I want to find a way not to play bishop takes b6. It's not easy for me. Oh, we definitely don't want that. Queen c6. And now we got to say black is doing fine. Queen d3, h6. Feels a little unnecessary. Notice, black is not sensitive to the fact that they are not developed. This looks like a mistake because of knight e5. You don't see it. Boom, boom. Rook a d8. Correct. Now he has what we're going to call the jump, and he's got some weak squares over here as well as the pawn. Queen c2, knight c4. I don't understand. You should play something like knight d4. You're just helping him. He's going to move his queen somewhere nice. Where does he go? Boom, simple chess. Rook a d1. Now black needs a nice move to persecute you, as they say. d6, I don't know. I don't know. Fine, good. That was good. Okay. Okay. Now, by the way, when we remember the heat graph, black hasn't been thinking at all on any of these moves, right? Not at all, at all, at all. And actually, let's return to the heat graph for just a second. Not the heat graph, time graph. One of the things we're going to see from here on out is that neither side, well, obviously black has never been thinking, but one of the things that we see at the dojo is a problem that often occurs is when we get to the end game, people think there's nothing to think about. Not true. There's all kinds of things going on here. And it's not simply the case that it's like some easy draw or something. No, it's not like that at all. Right? So for example, let's go back. I almost started talking without on the wrong scene. But for example, you're going to play queen b3, and the problem with there is your queen is out to lunch a little bit, and he's going to play knight e5. Well, you know, maybe we could go queen d3, and this is a little bit more of a question, because on knight e5 we have both queen e4, queen d5, and yeah, it's at least we're talking to him, you know, talking to this pawn. Queen b3, knight e5. Now, a feature of queen endgames, I'm just talking a little bit here because I want white to see, there's a lot going on, is in queen endgames, whoever has the more centralized queen will be better. Queen c4, and now black could have played queen e1, but did not, because they are moving instantly. Queen d5. I'm not sure this is a mistake because you get the pawn on c3. Okay. Check. g3. Good. Queen e2. Queen a7. And the dude blunders. Hey, black, maybe you wouldn't blunder if you would move a little slower. Bang! Welcome to the dojo, son. Welcome to the dojo, buddy. That's right, bud. That's what you get. That's what you get. Debarsha asks, what's the program name? This is called the ChessDojo Training Program. Check us out. Just Google ChessDojo, and we're going to come up right away. All right, well done. And we're going to go back. And next up we have, oh, fix it, buddy. We have Dryfo. And Dryfo says, first proper graduation is really going for it in the dojo. Honestly, my rapid rating drags behind a little, so I think I am one of the weaker members of this cohort. However, I decided to press the button because I felt a bit stagnant and need some fresh ideas and material to keep things fresh. I'm very aware that I will be at this cohort for a while, but the Morphy book excites me and just felt like it is time. I plan not to graduate up until my Lichess Classical stabilizes above the band level. Anyway, good luck on your journey to you guys and gals who see this in the news feed. All right, cool. So this is Dryfo. Oh, look at that. Now Dryfo. Now look at that, Dryfo, dude. You're already past this. You're already past this, Dryfo. In fact, well, look at this. You came to the dojo, and you just started slaying. Actually, what I'm seeing is once we developed the heat map right around this time, and then, like many others, myself included, it seems like you started using that heat map and created it as a really good habit former, and now you're crushing. Because look at that. Look at that. The heat map is coincident. The work in the heat map coincident with this massive rating game. Massive. So that's cool. All right. Beautiful. Done some tactics tests. Had some trouble with those. Had some trouble. All right. Clubs. Chess Steps. Asian Dojo. And then we'll go games. Dryfo's got loads of games. This one was played fairly recently. Let's give it a click. Let's see if we can... Oh, we got a good shamer here. We got a good shamer. Now, obviously, white, his opponent, Dryfo's opponent, he's not thinking at all, dude. Look at that thing. I mean, you get a graph like that, that's pure bullet right there. Now, we're going to hope that Dryfo is completely winning by move 13. However, if he's winning by move 13, then we're going to say, oh no, Why did it last so long? Oh, no, 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 no. All right, here we go. Game review, my friends. So far, so good. Fine. Poor. Because now he's going to involve your bad bishop, and you're just like, thank you very much. Castles. Knight d4. Fine. Now you develop your queen. Good. b6. Poor. Solid, but a bit slow. So, yeah. What's the correctamundo move? Knight e7 with a free tempo to knight c6. Okay. b6. Poor. Why is it poor? Dude needs to develop his pieces. Rook c8. Queen d3. Queen c7. Good move. Rook e1. And bang! Now you got him, baby. All right. Queen takes, rook takes. Now you're crushing him. Let's talk about this. I'm happy with this trade. However, I can see that my weakness is his completely undeveloped king side. My king is nowhere near safe. Now, here's a very important thing I want you to see. Your king is amazing. Your king is fine. There is nothing wrong with your king. His king is the problem. A lot of players have this misunderstanding. They think to themselves, oh, no, my king is all messed up. You know, no, your king's going to go to d7. He's going to be loud and proud. All right, bishop a3. Now, I want you to see that taking on a3 is a mistake because you are enabling their development, right? So, and by the way, you took on a3 in 47 seconds, all right? So the main thing, Dryfo, that you can improve on is your time usage, okay? That's the main thing. Now, you have several good moves here. I like knight e7. Why? Because I want to play knight c6 anyway, or knight g6, or knight f5, and I don't want to give him the ability to get the knight to a3 with any kind of ease. Okay, so here we go. Now his knight comes out. It's a little scary. Rook c5. Okay, he should play b4 now. Okay, he misses it. Now we should develop our knight. Good. Snip. Okay. Maybe a good move. Boom, boom. And now you castle. This is a key mistake. Your king wants to be active, and now it is not active, right? So what's the correct move? King d7. A way to conceptualize this is to say that when you castle, you actually lose tempi, because now your king will have to work its way back, right? So yeah, we didn't like it. Okay, yeah. So, castles. Now I guess rook c8. Good. Snip, snap. Knight b5. Interesting position. Let's play king f8. Notice, why do we have to play king f8? Because the guy's got to come back. Oh. Now that one scares me, but maybe we could do it. Okay. Knight d4. King f8. Good move. g4. Weird. Knight e7. Little funky. I'd rather you put your king there. Knight g6. Okay. And then f5 looks like a blunder. If they thought longer, they might find knight e2 holding it together. Good. Now we're winning. Good move. King f6. Okay. Now, I think simpler would be king d6 followed by knight c6. a4. Now, this guy's just playing instantly. Instantly. And you think for a minute here, boss, you got plenty of time. And I want to stress about this position. You're winning because you got more coconuts than your opponent. But anytime the knights are like this, it's going to be scary. There's going to be things to calculate, and you want to really make sure. So spending like even 10 minutes here trying to work it out, not a bad move. Knight d7. Snip, snap. King e5. Oh. King e5. Yeah. Of course, you should have played king e5. King f3. And now it's not so easy. G6. Snip, snap. Okay. H4. F5. Check. King F4. Now it's getting scary. King C5. Uh-oh. Now I just want to stress it's fully on now. Who knows what's happening? King B5. Snip. Oh no. D4. All right. This is very hot now. Knight, King B4. One thing I really want to stress is when you say Engine says this was a blunder, you need to analyze this for yourself, because what happened here was you didn't appreciate from a distance the danger of the passed H-pawn. Now, I can tell you, for example, that in knight endgames, the rook pawn, that's a hell of a drug. That thing will just roll and we can't do anything about it. Like maybe for example, here it wouldn't surprise me if you were lost. And if you're not lost, your knight is going to have to do some magic. Some magic to sacrifice itself for that pawn. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're getting back. I would like knight G8 here. And now I don't know if we're getting back. Yeah, we're just crispy critters. Ooh, okay. So, important to stress, Dreifel, that this was about you not spending enough time. And if you were intimidated by your opponent moving instantly, I get it. This is the kind of clown who in chat will say something like, move, even though they're the one that signed up for the 30-30 game. It's possible for this guy to go play blitz chess or bullet on his own. He doesn't need us, you know? All right, so, whew. All right. Let's go on. That was Dreifel. Matubal, one of our favorite guys, over here, grad show bows. Matubal's been around. He's doing the work. Matubal says, relatively quick graduation. I only got in 2 Dojo Classical games, but I think they're some of my best annotated. I still have 2 OTB tournaments over the next month and the Dojo Round Robin to look forward to. You guys, the Dojo Round Robin, I'm telling you, it is the way to go. There's Matubal. You can see that Matubal has been influenced by the Dojo heat map, because we put it out right there at the end of October, and that's when dude has been flying with the dojo points. You can also go hours worked, and he hasn't been logging his hours. That's fine. I like to log the hours. In fact, at the end of the show, I want to log some hours. So look at that nice graph. He was stagnant for a while, but he did the work, and it eventually paid off. Done some checkmate and tactics tests. Those look good. Yeah. All right. This is great. Clubs. New England and Boston. Great. Games. Now, let's just see if... He said he only had 2, but maybe that was 2 in this graduation period. I think those are the 2 right there. All right, let's do the longer time control one. And, now that's a nice time graph. That is a nice time graph. That's kind of what it should look like, too. Yeah, so that's a beauty right there. I think Ormley is in the program, if I remember. So this might be kind of a dojo game. All right. So, Kraai, you got to do time graph. No, that's the time graph right there. All right. Game review graph. So, here we go. Good. Queen H4 seems weird to me. Okay. So, Queen E2, the drawback is that your queen is probably going to get popped on the E file later. Right? So, but maybe I get it. This might even be some strange theory, because he is threatening knight G4 now. So we can't, like knight D2, knight G4 is actually the end of our souls. So, Queen E2, D6, and bishop E3, and then e5. e5 would be a pretty ballsy approach. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, e5 is a good move. Bishop e3. Bishop e3, though, fully understand what you're doing here. Knight g4. Uh-oh, maybe I don't. Okay, so they pulled a fast one on you. They pulled a fast one on you. Now we're in a little bit of trouble. Rook b8, probably a good move. b3, okay. Castles. Knight c3. Now, I definitely would prefer knight d2. So the problem with knight c3 is that the pawn on c6 is dominating the knight. On d2, we have prospects both of f3 and c4. Queen h6. Rook f3, good. I think queen h6 is a superficial move. Queen g5, yeah. See, they're just moving around. They're not appreciating that time is important. Let's bring the other rook in. Ooh. You talk about knight a4 and stuff. You got to play rook a f1. I don't understand a5 either. Knight a4. Why are we obsessed with knight a4 here? Uh-oh. Right. As you write, rook a f1. Just put your rook there. We'll figure out the rest later. f5. Don't like it. Yeah. Boom. Your bishop was bad, and now you exchange it off. Exchange it off. And now we can think about a couple things. Also queen c4 maybe, but we'll hit him first. Queen c5. Did we miss this queen c5? You go back. Okay. And now this is probably incorrect, this check, this take on a3. So check, boom, boom. And now we have ourselves an interesting position. They go back, queen d6, and then it resolves to this one. Who's better and why? Interesting question. Interesting question. All right, you played rook f2, and I really don't like it. I don't understand. I guess I understand. You want to play rook d2. Okay, maybe. Let me try to say why I don't like it intuitively. Is that the main person who needs to get fixed here is your king. Yeah. Now, what's interesting about that, though, is like the natural king f2 runs into king f7. So rook f2 might be super clever, but I actually want you to play king f1 next. That would be my next move for you, king f1, and bring our boy in. And right, d4 scares the bejesus out of me. Oh, no. So, yeah, d4, good move. The milk has gone bad. We need to, so it's either king f2 here or rook f3. Rook f3 with the same idea, to bring the king in without letting his king in. Okay, rook f2, d4, good move. Takes, and now we're in deep trouble. You say this is where things get complicated, but it was already complicated because you go king f1, like in your notes, dude can play rook e8, and I don't know if we're ever getting our coconut back. Okay, so you say rook e8 is too early and he can defend now. And now rook f8 is the move you like. Rook f8 is like a deep move. That's a very deep move because if I play g3, there's rook f3. Now, the issue with rook f8 is what is black going to do next? Like, if it was black's move, how does he nail us? So we don't want to play king h2. Use right rook e1. And when you do this analysis, you should ask yourself, well, is there a way that black could tighten the screws here? There might be. d5 would be certainly a reasonable question to ask, for example. Yeah, d5 looks very frightening. It could maybe go like this. d5, rook e2, then we play rook e8, then king f2, then d4, and no matter where this dude goes, we rip him. Oh, no. no. You got me, bro. You got me. All right, that's a variation I want to see in the annotations. King F3. Now, by the way, King F3 certainly looks correct, but you're saying C3. Now, actually, with the C3 move, Kraai, you have to go back, dude. Because D5, then C3. Good move. Well, maybe not so simple for Mr. Pimple here. This is still complicated. Yeah, it's still complicated. So this, I think you could spend some time then. If D5 doesn't do it, you could spend some time here figuring out how and if black can put the screws all the way in. Like H5, H4, maybe. I don't know if we have an idea after that. Maybe it's like this. Maybe it's like this. D5, C3, and then we claim you're in like a deep Zugzwang. So G5, and we say if anytime G3 happens, rook F3. Anytime King H2 happens, we go rook E8. So rook E2, H5, rook E1, G4. Let's say snip, snap. Rook E2, G3. It's at least impressive, right? Okay. Rook here, and then we go bang. Oh no, I can't defend, bows. I can't do it. Dang. That was some real variations, bows. That was some real variations. Okay. So back to the front. Rook E8, King F2, King F3, and then he finds rook F8. Bishop B8 check. Oh, man. Oh, no, no, gosh. Really there? Really there? Oh, no, it's gone bad, hasn't it? D4. And you talk about H5. Holy moly. So H5. It certainly looks horrendous. It definitely looks bad. What moves do you consider here? Knight G4, Knight D5, Knight F5. But you got to play H4 here, right? I don't know what's happening here. H4. It's the same dynamic that we saw in the other position where if you go, well, I don't know. It's still very complicated. Whew. Okay. So D4, Knight D5. But why is D4 a mistake? Oh, I get it. I get it. Bang, he missed that. Bang, and now we should be able to hold a draw, but black will still be better after rook C5. Boom. King F3 looks more circumspect. D3, that isn't it. Check, I don't know. Snip, snap, good. Good. All right, now we can agree to a draw. Let's see what happened. Uh-oh. That isn't it, bud. That isn't it. Welcome to the dojo. Welcome to the dojo. Endgame algorithm number 3, baby. Oh, yeah. Endgame algorithm number 3, baby. Let's go. Yeah, this is one of the key ones. This is one of the key ones. Yeah. Well played. Well played, my friend. Delicious. That's what they get. That's what they get. So well done. That was inspirational. Okay, now we have King Ambit, and I was wondering what happened to King Ambit. Let's read what he says. Took 2 months off. Basically, King's Ambit was graduating all the time. And then he kind of disappeared, and let's see what his story is. Took 2 months off from playing since I felt like the tremendous amount of work I was putting in wasn't paying off. Been having a lot more time off lately, so I decided to get back to it. I pulled a Neil Bruce and made flashcards for all the Polgar maiden twos up to the ones in my cohort. Holy moly. I'm also making them for 1001 chess exercises for beginners, the Checkmate Patterns Manual, and my own tactics that I miss in my games. I simply need a ton more tactics than the dojo requires to improve. I'll disagree, but okay. I'm also halfway through the first book of Morphe. I will force myself to play at least one game a week moving forward. Good. I know it's important. I'm almost done with Winning Chess Strategies by Sarawan and Simple Chess by Steen. That's a higher level book, both of those. I realize that they're above my level, but I wanted a little primer on strategy because often I don't know what to do in the middle game. That said, I don't think the concepts in these books have won me a single game, so I guess it's a bit of a waste. Yeah, dude, I mean, under 1,000, we can talk about what's required to make 1,000. But I figure once I revisit them at the appropriate cohort, I'll get a bit more out of them the second time. This is why we say focus on the stuff in your cohort. I will just focus on tactics from now on. After 1001 exercises, I might also do tactics time 1 and 2. As I said, I need a ton more volume and I don't like doing online tactics. After everyone's first chess workbook, I did chess tactics for students by Bain and the steps method 2 and 3 and learn chess the right way 2. I annotate all of my games and play only 30 minutes or an hour. I don't like playing 15 because I lose on time. Great. When I have a winning position, I don't want it to affect my elo. So instead of blunder games, I just play more 30-minute games. Kraai once said you need to do 3 things to improve. Play at least 40 plus classical games a year, analyze your game, and what was the third? Is it tactics? I feel like it's got to be that or Polgar mates. Well, okay. Falgram, having way too much fun. We did your graduation ceremony earlier. You can watch it later. Let me say this. For the under 1,000, we're going to look a little deeper at King Ambit. I'm, first of all, happy that you're back. I have done this graduation show for like 6 years. Basically, even before the dojo started, I was doing this on chess.com. And so I've been doing a lot of game review of the whole spectrum. And I can tell you for certain, I feel, like with a lot of experience, what the players under 1,000 need. Okay. And these are not equally weighted. These are not equally weighted. Because the first one is way more important than the second, too. Number 1, you need a grip on the board. So, for example, you're talking about a bunch of tactics, and it's not tactics that you're missing. At under 1,000, what's going on is people are hanging stuff. And so tactics can help, but what the tactics are doing is they're showing you what attacks what, getting your mind tuned so maybe, you won't drop the pieces. But that is what is happening in the under 1,000. And the way to win, the most common way to win is take your opponent's piece, trade it down, and then we're done. The other 2 things, also very important. You can learn much easier than you can learn with not hanging stuff. You can learn development. That's not where your games will be decided, but it's easy to learn and will give you a competitive advantage. And number 3, as we've already seen in a bunch of these games, people have a hard time in the under 1,000 moving slowly. They are often just too rushed, and a lot of it is just having the habit of reflecting, and they get nervous, anxiety, and they start moving too fast. So those are the 3 things for the under 1,000 cohort. And I say that again often on this show, but those are the main things. Now we're going to look at King's Gambit. We're going to see what's going on. So boom. And those are the dojo points. You can see he kind of left for a little bit. Let's see, hours worked. He's been doing non-dojo stuff. So, right. Yeah, he's got the 33-year-old dentist in the Midwest. King's Gambit. King Ambit. I know you got mad at me once because he didn't pronounce it right. But I'm a fan of yours, boss. I've been wanting to go over there and do some barbecuing and lifting some weights, dude. Come on. Come on. Okay. So, yeah. Smeargle the Goat. He's at 834. He's done some of these ones. And I think he said he didn't like the online stuff. And one thing I think is really good, and even if you don't enjoy it, is to force yourself to get to your cohorts rating in the Puzzle Rush. It might be painful, but that thing is just going to be the basic tactics, and it is a good measure of your skill. These as well. So it's good that you've done them, but I think what we're seeing is you might have an argument. You might be like, oh, I'm tactically weaker. And this is one of the things that we wanted to do with this rating dashboard with the tactics, to show if you're below your cohort, and you're definitely below your cohort over here, okay? So we're gonna think a little bit more about the tactics. Let's do activity. And this non-dojo stuff is mostly tactics, I'm assuming from what you said. All right, let's get to games and let's see if we can drill down into it a little bit. So here's Smeargle the Goat playing a 30-0 game, right? First thing, let's look at a time. Ooh, there we go. Well, my friends, it's clear. It's clear, right? We don't even need to say nothing no more. So right there, if you just slow down, you're going to hang pieces left. And like I said, that is what is deciding the under 1,000. All right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to come back to this particular game. Okay. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to go time graph. So Smeargle actually here, fine. So I can't say nothing. I just wanted to see if it was a pattern in all the games. That was fine. That was fine. Okay, so one game he wasn't thinking. This is a 10-0 game, so I don't know if it counts. And here he probably lost on time even. Okay, so, okay. Here we go. So we're going to go back to this one and see what's going on. Here he says he's played a nice game that he's proud of. Let's go game review. Docket. Fine. Good. You got a great position so far. Great. Queen d7, poor. Okay, so remember what I said. Remember what I said. These people are going to give you material and they're going to give you time. And definitely Queen d7 is a negative move in terms of tempi because he's going to have to move the thing again to free the bishop on c8. Good move. Snip. And he blunders. Queen c6, bam! Very nice. So now you're just killing him. So knight e4, and now you play queen e2, spoiled for choice. I would take on c7, but there's nothing wrong with what you did. Simple chess, simple chess, simple chess. Good. This is beautiful. You're doing great. Oh, that's a little too fancy. Okay. Actually, it's fine. It's fine. What am I saying? You're just killing him so hardcore, there's nothing else to say. Black finally resigns. You know what we're going to do, Smeargle? Let's go back and look at a different game. That was great, but let's go back and just look at a second one, too. So in this one, oh, crap, you got to go. Yeah, we're fine. We're going to look at this one over here. Is there something that's going wrong with my scene over here? Is there something hidden behind there that's going wrong? Oh, yeah, something's going wrong. I don't know. Let's delete that. There we go. That was going on a whole stream, I guess. All right. So this is the first classical game in 2 months. Let's just give it a look. You're doing fine. Bishop b5 is a little weird. Losing a tempo. So what I say? I said they're going to give you time. I said they're going to give you time. More time given. Boom. Good. Now you're doing great. d3. Knight c6. Good. More time being given. h6. Maybe not necessary, but okay. Knight a5. Poor because now look, the bishop is going to ghost your knight when you play knight a5, right? So you do want to find a plan here, and moves like here and here come to mind. A little weird, but okay. Okay. Good move. I like it. Knight g3. A little frisky. A, B. Knight f5. Poor. Giving up their coconuts. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so now you're doing great again. Poor. Not developing their stuff. Good move. I like that because now you're killing the bishop on a2. The pawn on a3 is now defended. Good job. Okay. Fine. Poor. Thank you. Thank you. You're killing this guy. You're doing great. Knight f8. You can't get mated with a knight on f8. You say you like knight f6. Okay, but knight f8, you're just killing him. You have everything going for your position. f6, that's not doing it. Okay. Okay. I think I'd prefer knight g6. You're still obviously crushing him. Let's play rook e6 now. Fine. That was a good move by your opponent. Let's play queen f8 now. Good. Queen g7 now. Rook e6 is fine. Was that a good move? Maybe that was a good move, but we have queen g7. Thank you. Now we play rook takes f6. Thank you. That's not it. Boom, boom, boom. And we're winning. Yeah. So, that doesn't do it. Okay. Check to the miserable king. And now this was dangerous. Okay, so this is unnecessary. You've already won his coconut. Bring your queen back. Trade the queen. So, for example, play queen c1 and queen f4. You don't need much here. Yeah, you don't need much. So this is poor form. And can they get a perpetual? Okay. Boom. Boom. Now, one of the things that's really important in the game analysis is to check, is it true that they have perpetual? My hunch is not true that they have perpetual, right? Queen c6, check, and now you did something really nice. Queen f6, beautiful, beautiful. Now, when we look at this, your opponent would have been better served thinking. They would have been better served thinking a little bit, buddy. Oh, there was some complicated stuff there. Okay. One of the things that I see in this game is that you were better than your opponent with the hanging of stuff. You were better than your opponent in time use, and you were better than your opponent in development, right? So those are the three categories that when I think of improvement in the under 1,000 range, that's what it's about. And you did it here. So that was great. And obviously you killed the guy in the first first game as well. Okay, but here's the question that we I guess needs to kind of be asked here. So King's Gambit is saying that he doesn't have enough tactics. And I think he doesn't like the online tactics that we have, which we don't have that many, but we have, these tactics tests and this stuff. With all of this stuff, this is not great. And so even if he doesn't like it, he can use these as a measure of where he's at, as a gauge. So for example, these guys in particular, and our tests, like he should try to get those up to his cohort level, right? Then we go activity. We go tactics. He's going to get a lot more tactics here too. He's done all this stuff. And he's going to have more maiden twos to come in this next one. So actually, let's go training plan. Tactics. So this is for the current cohort. And he's already done, most of the maiden twos. He's going to need to take some more checkmate tests. That's really important. And he's getting there with the puzzle rush. I'm sure he could definitely do higher than that. And these dojo tests, good. And okay, so what'll be interesting is, I think, this is my claim, that if he trusts the program, first it will be much better for his mental health. But if he trusts the program, and achieves these tactics benchmarks, as well as doing the other things, maybe a little bit deeper game annotations too, that the progress will come. And if it doesn't come, then I want to come in there and I'll talk to him. I'll talk to him. I'll look at what he's doing. But yeah, all this white, it's confusing to him. And you could tell he got frustrated with the dojo. He's like, I'm not doing enough tactics. I'm going mad. Yeah. I'm trying to come up with a weightlifting analogy here. You know, I think there's so many weightlifting analogies I could use. But right, you're obsessing over like one feature of your improvement. And I do think that you have some grief with the tactics. So it is a weak spot for you. So I have some sympathy with that. I know I want to stress, though, it's not necessarily the tactics. It's the grip on the board, like just hanging stuff. And you found some good stuff, though. You found like Queen F6 and all. That was great. So I'm pretty confident that you're going to move up, King's Gambit. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think you're going to, those last two games were high enough quality. I was like, yeah, you're going to make it to the next level. All right, let's move on. And we have Eliza. And we got two more left here. All of my work in the previous cohort showing dividends by propelling me quickly through the next. Jesse is going to call me a lunatic when he reviews my newest annotated game, so I'm nervous about that. Plan to still finish up the cohort-specific materials, all about time and how to beat your dad at chess, because there's no way that material will hurt my progress. Really loving the variety of material so far and love reading the Discord even if I don't participate much. Also enjoying watching the grad shows and seeing other people's progress journeys. Great. Let's check in on Eliza over here. Let's see if I'm going to call her a lunatic. So Pacific Northwest, I believe, yeah, I remember Eliza. I remember this story, so this is all cool. And perhaps like she made it and then dropped down like in the last couple days. But all right. So tactics rating, look at that, 996. Right? She's doing good with the tactics. This one, there's probably just one test, so it's just not a great data point. But doing well there. Did a lot of tactics and then did a lot of games and analysis here. So she's definitely putting in the work. That's a great heat map. All right, let's go see if I call her a lunatic. So first we got these, Seattle, great. Seattle has some cool chess going on. I think this is the one I'm gonna call her a lunatic. I hope so, because I wanna see the lunatic. This is a OTB against a much higher rated opponent. So first we'll take a look. Oh, excuse me, time graph. Oh, let's get that. So one of the things that's cool is if it's an OTB, really you're going to have to log your own time, and I definitely think it's worth the trouble. It will help you even during the game, keep track of what's going on with the time, and then afterwards you can create a graph like this which will tell its own story. All right, let's go to the game review, and we're going to see. I like calling people a lunatic. Let's see if I call her a lunatic. So far, so good. Fine. Now, this is Generally, I think it's fine. The aficionados are going to like c3 more. And I like that she's just saying, bring out your guys. Great. So good. Castles, good. e6. Now, it's a little bit about this position. We are in a Queen's Gambit declined reversed, and Black achieved bishop g4, which is a positive, but the strategic struggle is still fully on here, despite the fact that Black got themselves this bishop out. If you see, like a lot of games, you're going to see, especially at this level, there's a lot of players doing this kind of stuff, hoping that Black plays e6, basically. It's a positional trap. If they play e6, they're in real trouble. Okay, so here we go. Good. Fine. Maybe a little poor to take on f3. At least it's easier for us to know how to play the position after they take. Bishop d6, rook e1, good move. Castles, knight d2, very good. You're doing great. Bishop c7, and now you played knight f1, and you say, looks kind of weird, but it protects the infiltration points around my king while opening up the dark square bishop's mobility. Now, first thing we should say is bishop c7 is a poor move that is playing for a trick, okay? It's just playing for like, oh, I'm going to mate Eliza with this, and Eliza's not going to see it or something. So one thing I want to stress, though, just in terms of this particular kind of structure for white, is we want really to put the knight on f3, and then we're going to look at e5. We'll really think about playing knight e5. So, for example, queen e2, queen d6, knight f3. I like this position a lot for white. We'll put that knight right there. Boom, boom. And look at this. Our bishops are looking good. We have good prospects against the king. Now, maybe knight f1, but I don't like it. I don't know where it's going from there. Okay. And now maybe you are a madman with bishop g5, a mad woman with bishop g5. I think we need to take, and, you know, they'll have the isolated pawn. It'll be a rich game. So, bishop g5. And I think are we losing? I guess bishop g5 is claiming that we're not losing after e4. It's interesting. So bishop g5, e4, and now you played bishop takes e4 question mark. I saw the idea of sacking 2 pawns here and thought it was a more dynamic decision, and I felt like it was going in the right direction after making the more dynamic decision with bishop g5. I thought it would be compensated by the fact that Black's knight on c6 would have trouble getting into the game. That's definitely true, that the knight is poor. And should have went with what I'd originally calculated. Now, by the way, I thought bishop g5 was like a little too hot. A little too hot. But it's true. Look what she's doing. It's interesting. So she's saying on e4, we're going to play check to the miserable queen. And if queen takes, we're definitely doing good in that position, I feel, because our knight's going to come to e3. So now notice the knight is actually doing something. And if gf, check, king, this would be the one, if I was worried about something, this would be it. Because our bishop has to move. I don't know where yet. Let's put the bishop there just for half a second. And then this position scares me a little bit for Black. But it's still interesting. So I think your bishop g5 is interesting. And one of the things I would tell Black, if I was coaching Black here, is I would say, look, when you push past and you don't win any coconuts by doing so, then the knight has lost its ability to get into the game. And so you should strongly consider ed4. It's not just about winning the pawn. It is about improving the quality of your knight on c6. Okay, so bishop g5, e4. Snip, snop, rook takes. It's definitely fun. Queen d6. And now, I don't know if Black realizes it, but they're not threatening anything. Opponent went for a long thing to play this move, seemed fairly unhappy. So I thought I maybe caught onto the right idea with the piece sack. Queen here looks blocked. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and she talks about h6, snip, snop, snip, gf6, and I guess we're technically lost, but it's an interesting position, you know? Okay, so here we go. Queen d6, and now rook h4. Okay, now the danger of this rook move is that the rook will be offsides. Queen d5, maybe a good move. Maybe a good move. And now definitely, she was wondering about the lunacy, and we got some definite lunacy here. Bang! Oh, whoa, whoa, take it easy. By the way, Queen d5 is a good move. It's really messing with us, you know, this and this. So remember, by the way, good that you thought for 11 minutes here, because this is all of a sudden a very difficult situation. And the problem with rook h4 is, you know, now you're all in with the rook over there. And it's not an easy position to know what to do here. I think you are legitimately just in trouble. Okay, so rook h4 and queen d5 exclam, and you lost your mind. Now, I don't know if I'd call you a lunatic in the sense that you are doing something creative. That's definitely creative. I mean, rook g4 is a hell of a drug. There's a variety of things that black could do here, unfortunately. Even, I think, rook e8, rook g4, king f8 is probably going to be fine for them. Let's see, h5, g4. Maybe they'll fall for it. Queen d6, g5. Okay, okay. Bishop d8, unfortunately. Bishop e5, snip, snap, and it all falls apart. Oh, man. So, first of all, your opponent, actually, as you said, the opponent was higher rated than you. And one of the things, so I finally finished this Chessable course. It'll hopefully come out soon. One of the things I want to say that's interesting about your opponent here is your opponent loses a lot of time, but doesn't lose anything tactically, right? So what am I talking about? Like, this position I kind of like for you. I like that move. I like that move. And that move, bishop c7, was fundamentally a little soft. Probably e5 right there instead. So knight f1, then they change their mind because they see that the knight is protecting h2. You should take. Now, e4, mistake, because your bishop f6, now you have a really interesting position. So you can see that black's mistakes are more, you know, you can see the level at which they are mistakes, right? Yeah, so I think this was a good game. You shouldn't feel bad about this at all. And I do enjoy calling people lunatics, but I understand where the queen f6 is coming from. Okay, so good job. And let's continue. I think we have one more, and this is Alyssa Mintchip over here. Year-end graduation since I got around to playing some online games. Really appreciate the dojo for its structure and its suggestions for what materials are appropriate for specific skill levels. Also a big fan of the Friday Night Fights classical games. They're a huge benefit for someone like me who doesn't live near a very strong chess scene. Found a first book of Morphy to be literally game-changing, and I'm excited to keep working through it after graduation before moving on to logical chess move by move. Thanks to the dojo, I've gone from 527 USCF, dang, to 1341 USCF in only 9 months. Dang, at 30-something too. Alyssa Mint Chip. Oh, she's slaying. Okay. Let's go look at Alyssa Mint Chip. So 31, and let's see if those are hours work. Let's go dojo points. Doing some tactics recently, playing some games pretty consistent. Now the USCF, I mean, that's slaying 30. So now she's using the ChessCom as her preferred, but you can see if she used USCF, she would be even higher. Now, I think it's fine if especially if she's playing ChessCom more often, But eventually, I think it could be a goal for her to be like, you know what, I'm going to take this over the board thing more seriously. Those are the kind of games. But she said, she's not in a chess area. That might be part of it too. So tactics, she is slaying. She's slaying the tactics, my friends. Oh, that's really good. That's really good. Yeah. Okay. So King Ambit might want to look over here at this profile. Let's look at clubs. Okay, good. So then we got activity, lots of tactics. Let's click on it. Boom. So she's got some made in twos. This is the Everyone's First Chess Workbook. Great. This is really good. All right, let's go look at a game. Oh, we got a USCF here. Charlotte. Oh, this is the Charlotte Alto tournament. If you guys don't know what this is, it's pretty cool. The Alto tournament is, you got to be 21. No kids in there. Maybe it's 18, but no kids allowed. Keep them out. And so someday I'm going to go play in that tournament. It seems like it's a really fun time. So first of all, let's look. Is there a time graph? There is. We'll take a quick look. And that looks like a good time graph right there. Excellent. Okay, let's go game review. And we'll say over here. Boom. Right. So what she's saying is no exact time, but try to note throughout the event the time expenditure for both players. Great. So, fine, 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 fine. Good. Okay. Okay. I think it's okay. Good. Good. Great. All right. So here we shouldn't mind the weak pawn because you're getting some nice light squares like d5 and your bishop's coming out. And you're right, but I wasn't too upset as I still control the square in front of the IQP. Yeah, good. And now white tanks here, knight bd2. Okay. I feel like this isn't the right square for the knight and that it should be on c3 to support an eventual d5 push. That said, I understand wanting to put the rook on c1 and not have the knight blocking the half-open file. My opponent spent 30 minutes. I felt being up on time, as I'm usually not. I've only spent about 15 minutes here. Great. So, bishop f5 was played. That's fine. Knight d5 also looks strong. Bishop f5. Good. Queen b3. Not sure about queen b3 either. You'd think if rook c1, like you said, makes a lot of sense. Now, with rook b8, there's a funny thing about rook b8 where I'm not 100% because maybe bishop f4 would mess with us a little bit, So I was a little concerned about bishop f4. And maybe knight d5 first and then rook b8 would be a way to do it. Knight d5, good move. Queen c4, that doesn't look right. Now you're right, queen c3 is better. I think but he can't. There's no queen c3 because of the knight. This is all of a sudden the problem they ran into. So queen a3 is probably the move they have to do. Okay, so queen c4 looks incorrect. You took. For all my talk of the outpost, I sure did give it up easily. This strengthens the IQP, but creates a backwards e-pawn and takes out white's last bishop. It comes with tempo on the queen, so I'll now be able to play my next move as well. As an added motivating factor, I had a similar position in the previous game in this opening, and I did not take the bishop, which my coach and I determined had been a mistake. With the stronger understandings of the benefit of the capture and altered pawn structure, I felt good about this move. Okay, so one thing I want to say about this is that that bishop isn't going anywhere. The bishop's not going anywhere. So I do think, I like your position, by the way, because we're going to take on b2, so we're winning a coconut. And when somebody wins a coconut, it's hard to say anything bad about it. But that bishop he's just trapped, and our knight is beautiful. So I would rather just take on b2. But okay, here we go. Boom. a4. Okay. And now you played queen b8. Okay. Now this I think is a critical position because with queen b8, aren't we losing our coconut on c6? Right? I think. Notice too that in this position, rook b2, a4. With the knight here, we have a lot more dynamic opportunities to play against white's pieces. Let's go look at your given situation. And I was thinking just now that maybe we don't want to lose the pawn, that maybe queen a5 hitting d2 might be a good move. Not 100% either. But okay, here we go. Queen b8. It looks like you spent a little bit of time on that. They don't want to take it. And you talk about queen c6, bishop h6. Let's look at your variation. Queen c3, rook c8. And you like that position, but if we go further, like, are we winning a coconut? Your position, by the way, with the bishops and everything, we got to, in principle, like it. It's just I don't know if we're knocking him out here. Okay, so this is what we're going to call a passive move, rook f1. Also, it's like, oh, thank you for not taking my pawn. And now you want to break him open. Okay, I like it. I like it. Passive. Yeah. Snip. Knight d4. Okay. And now rook b4. You say on rook b4, black gives up a part of their advantage but is still winning. Discussion with my coach determined that black should start with the extremely strong bishop e4, which saves the pawn due to the threat of rook g2, which is crushing, and also prevents white from activating the rook with any e4 ideas in the future. Good. And one of the things you can see from this that's really cool is you can see why people talk about the power of the bishops. This is a hell of a drug right here, right? Look at it. So just obvious chess for a second. This guy can control the most he's ever going to control at 8 squares. This guy's got 4 squares. But then you start adding up these bad boys. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That guy's already at 9. And this guy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and clearly after a move like bishop e5, oh no, the amount of square control is just going to be devastating. Okay, so here we go, rook b4, snip, snop, snook, boom. Okay, you got a great position. Knight g3, bishop d7. Stockfish doesn't like this and suggests bishop e6. Okay. Now, by the way, if we're just winning a pawn, then I don't care too much about whatever Stockfish says. Queen c3, rook a4. And maybe Stockfish might want something like queen b6 first. So here it is, knight e4, and it is mildly scary, maybe more than mildly scary. So what we want to say here is, this nota bene is that this is hard for GMs too. So first of all, you're playing great chess, but we want to say that with rook, with the way this goes here, the game is suddenly going to get a little messy, right? And like, I don't know what the machine would want here, but I would be interested, for example, in bishop d3, just to keep the knight forever out of my business. Because once the knight comes in, even by the way, on that bishop e6 move, I'm still letting the knight in. Okay, so here we go, knight e4. Now it's very frightening. Now you make, let's just say you make the courageous decision here with queen b6, f6. It's scary, And you could have bailed out with rook takes e4. So this is the courageous move. f6. Okay, here we go. And right, something like knight c5, it's starting to be terrifying. Right? It's starting to be terrifying. So you caught a break. Boom. Oh, you caught a big break, and white resigned. Wow. Wow. This is really great. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Beautiful annotations. Really cool story, too. Very cool story. Yeah. All right, I think that's it for El Dojo Grad Show. And so we'll be back tomorrow. You know, I'm getting up early. I got up at like 4 something. It's a different 420. You know, when you do the PM 420, that's dramatically different from the AM 420. And today I did the AM 420. So that's where I was today. I'm going to try to do it tomorrow as well.